What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm JessicaChilll. If you've noticed that I'm still wearing the same outfit as my last video, that's because I made 2 videos in a row and I didn't feel like changing my clothes. So, get over it. Anyways, today I'm going to tell y'all a story that I think is kind of funny. And it's about my brother, which he told me to use the name Big Pappa in this video, so we're going to call him Big Pappa. And this is not a video for kids, so if you're a kid, click out. If your kids are in the room, make them leave. It's pretty much about drugs, yeah. And the first time that my brother ever tripped on mushrooms. We were younger, so, you know, whatever. At the time, I lived in an apartment complex, and it was like it was an older building, but it had like 2 apartments downstairs and 2 apartments upstairs, and we shared like the front, like there was one front door and stairs on the inside that so upstairs was my apartment on one side, and the other apartment had like a bunch of my friends that lived over there too. And me and my boyfriend at the time decided to go get some mushrooms and, you know, make my brother trip because he had never done it before. And so we made it all up, made Kool-Aid and stuff, and we shared that Kool-Aid with like 20 people. I mean, it was a lot, so we had enough for a lot of people. The people that lived next door were going to a party, so they all drank theirs and they left. And then me, both of my brothers, my boyfriend, my best friend at the time, which was a gay black guy, and our neighbor that lived like across our parking lot, he come over, and it was just us. So we're hanging out, you know, drinking Kool-Aid and stuff, and after a little bit, like, we're outside on the steps in the back of my apartment complex, and we're just all chilling and stuff. And my brother had never done it, plus my gay black friend, he had never done it either, so this would be their first time. And I'm gonna tell y'all, it was a night that I will never forget because it was so fun and so funny. There were a couple of times where it wasn't so funny, but it was a really long night. So I'm gonna jump into this story. My brother, Big Pappa, and my other brother, we call him Stick, so they had drank, and after, you know, about 30 minutes, my brother, Big Pappa, starts laughing, and he's not like laughing like normally. He's like, he just starts doing this, and we're like, dude, what's wrong with you? And he's like, there's a little green man under the bush, and he's dancing like, he looks like a leprechaun, and he's like doing this little dance. I can't show y'all with my arms because I'm holding my phone with one hand and only got one hand free. But so he starts doing, we started laughing at him, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be such a trip, which he is always funny anyways. I mean, this dude, when we were kids, used to like know every line to every Jim Carrey movie ever made, and, you know, start something on the wing every time we went in the car somewhere. You know, like, he was just funny. He could have grown up to be a comedian, but he decided to be a musician instead. So, you know, the little green man was sitting there dancing and talking to him, I guess, and after a minute, he like reaches over and he grabs my hand, and he was like, you have to hold my hand the entire time. And I'm like, okay. And I swear the whole entire night he did not let my hand go. Like, I was his like security blanket for the night. And we're sitting there like talking and stuff, making fun of my brother. My other brother, Stick, he had a red mohawk. And he's like 7'2". He's really, really tall and skinny. And he had a red mohawk, and he had on a green shirt, like a cut off green t-shirt. And we're like just sitting there talking, and we had like all of a sudden look over at my brother's Stick, and his shirt turns red like his mohawk, and everybody's like, oh crap, when did you change your shirt? He's like, I didn't change my shirt. It's been the same shirt. And we're like, no, you had on a green shirt. It's red now. He's like, no, it's been red. And we're like, no, dude, your shirt was green. He's like, no, it's red. It's been red this whole time. So we're like tripping on him for a little bit. And then out of nowhere, our buddy Chaz, which I don't think anybody will know him, so I'm just gonna go with his name. Chaz was like, look up there, and he starts like pointing up at the trees, and by this time it's still daylight outside, and we're like looking, like all of us are looking up at the trees trying to figure out what the crap he's pointing at, and we're like, what is it? He's like, look, and we're like, what? We don't see anything but trees. And he's like, it's squirrels. We're like, oh my gosh. He had us going for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what was in the trees, and it's squirrels the whole time. But whatever. My friend Chris is like tripping out in a bad way. Like, and he started making us freak out too, because Chris was like a really, really dark skinned person. And he's like, got his eyes like this. And he's trying to I guess he was trying to melt into the wall, because he was, he couldn't be any closer to the wall. And the way he was holding on to the wall, it was like he was trying to become one with the wall. But he's like, with his eyes the whole time. He's freaking us out. And I kept telling him, I was like, Chris, why don't you go upstairs and lay down, dude? You're like having a bad trip. And you're making us have a bad trip. Like, go upstairs and go to sleep. Go lay down. Wait till it wears off. And he would disappear for a little bit. And then he'd come back and he'd still be like, he wasn't taking it good at all. And I was being a really shitty friend at the time, just trying to get him to go away, not actually realizing that he might have needed me in that moment. So, boo on my part. That was terrible. But back to my brother. Like, he stands up and he is like, come with me. And I'm like, where are we going? He was like, we're going to get in my van. Because he had like this like 1990s big van thing, and he was like, let's go get my van. I'm like, all right. So we start walking down the sidewalk, and he all of a sudden just falls over in the grass and lays on his back. My brother is like 6'8", like 250-ish pounds. I mean, he's a big dude. He was a football player in high school. Like, he was big. So he like falls out on the ground, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm like, he's like, look at the moon. And it was a crescent moon. And I look up and I'm like, bro, the Cheshire Cat's gonna pop out at any moment. Just keep watching it. And he's like looking, and he's smiling so big. And he was like, where is it? You know, waiting on the Cheshire Cat to come out. And I'm like, it's just watch it. And he's like, oh, I want to get in my van. So he's like holding his hand up, and I go to pick him up, and he had grass stuck to the back of his shirt. And I'm like, dude, the earth is coming with you. And he's like, what? Get it off. And I'm like, the earth is like stuck to your back. And he gets up, and I mean, I'd done it like 100 times, so I knew what to expect, and I knew how to mess with him, which made it all that much funnier. But he's like, get it off, it's stuck to me. Like the earth was actually melted to his back. So I get him up, and I get all the grass off of him and stuff. And we go and get in his van. Like, he opens the side door and climbs in the back and like lays out on his floorboard. And I get in the driver's seat. And as soon as he gets in, like, he like hit his leg, or he did something, I don't know, but it made me start laughing. And I just started laughing so hard, I like fell over. Like, I kind of went to like, I like doubled over laughing, and when I did, I popped my head on the console. Like, then, if you know, in vans, like, they have that round console thing. Like, I popped my head on it, and I'm like, oh, I knocked myself out, which made him start laughing. And we just sat there, I swear, in that van for like 2 hours, just doing nothing but laughing the whole time. And like, after 2 hours, he's like, okay, I'm ready to go. Like, out of nowhere, he's just like, all right, I'm ready to go. Let's get out the van. I'm like, okay. He's like, you gotta hold my hand. He's like, let's go walk around the building. I'm like, okay. So I get out, and I'm holding his hand, and we go to walk around the side of the building. And we go, and we sit on the front steps. And by this time, it's dark, and it's like late at night. And the street sweepers come down the road, and they have all these blinking lights and like a little siren thing or whatever. And when they did that, like, we both freaked out. We were like, oh, we gotta go run and hide. So we go to like walk around the other side of the building, and that's where the driveway is. And we have like pitch black pavement. And he's like, we're walking, and he puts his arm out. He's like, stop. And I'm like, what? And he puts out his leg, and he's like, it's a black river. and he's like tapping it. If you've seen Hocus Pocus, then you'll get it. He's like, it's a black river. And I just, to me, that was like the funny. It's one of those you had to be there to get it things, but it was so funny. So we go back around the back side of the building, and where everybody was, and they're like, dude, where y'all been? Y'all been gone for so long. We're like, we were only gone 10 minutes. I mean, that's what it felt like. It was only like 10 minutes. But, so they're like, let's go inside. Okay, so we go inside, and we're like, it's like 10 of us. And we're like standing there in my dining room, and on my wall I have the Spirit of Jim Morrison poster hanging up on the wall, and it's the one where it's like his face in the clouds. And as we're staring at this poster, it just starts moving, and everybody's like, whoa, it's moving, it's so trippy. And then all of a sudden, and I shit you not, like Jim Morrison's face turned into a lion, and all of us saw it at the same time. Like, it turned into a lion, and we all jumped out, whoa, shit, like, everybody's looking at each other like, did you see that? Did you see that? Did that really happen? Did you see that? And we all saw it at the same time, which was really, really weird, because, I mean, how is it that we all saw the same thing in a poster that's never done anything else but be a poster, you know? So, we're like, alright, and then my buddy Chaz, he was like, alright, y'all, let's go smoke some weed. So, I wouldn't let them smoke weed in my apartment, but they always did it in the front stairwell. And there was a window out there, and everybody would congregate out there and smoke. So, we go out there, and it was like dark in there. I don't know why we had the lights off in the whole house. Like, we had lava lamps and black lights and, you know, stuff like that. But other than that, all the lights were off. And we're sitting there, and like everybody's smoking weed, and all of a sudden Chaz goes, what the fuck was that? And we're like, what? And Chris was like standing beside him, and he was like, he just grabbed Chris grabbed his, you know, his junk, and he was like, what the fuck, get him away from me now. And I'm like, Chris, why'd you do that? And he's like, I didn't do anything. And I mean, he was still like, he was like, I didn't do anything. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. I swear I didn't do anything. And the next day, he was like, dude, I'm so sorry. He was like trying to apologize to everybody. He's like, I really did. I'm sorry. I was tripping on it. I would never do that. Like any other time, I swear I would never do that. And it was like made a big deal. And everybody's like, all right, let's go back out to the steps. Let's go back in the backyard. And he was like, keep that motherfucker away from me. So I told Chris, I was like, you need to stay in here. You need to lay down and go to sleep. Like, for real, because they're going to end up beating you up if you don't. Like, chill now. So we go back downstairs, and we're sitting out there for like 20 minutes. And about that time, all my neighbors come in from the party. And they, like, park, and one of the guys, like, starts walking up, but he's, like, big strides walking up like, cartoon, like, huge strides. And he's like, We're like, what's wrong with you? He's like, oh my gosh, I've never tripped so hard in my life, man. We're like, everybody just started busting out laughing. So we, like, hang out and stuff for a while. And it's funny, you know, like, we were having a blast, but I got to where I was like, all right, I'm ready for it to go away. I mean, we've been tripping for like 5 or 6 hours straight. By this time, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all right, I'm going upstairs. I'm going to sleep. So I go upstairs. We all go upstairs. And they put on Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. They're watching it in the living room, and I go in my room. And I left my bedroom door open. So I'm like, getting to bed. And I was really, really cold. So I put the blankets over me. And then I started sweating, so I put them back off me, and I got really cold. I kept doing that back and forth, but what really messed with me was, like, I was ready to stop tripping, and it wouldn't stop. And I could hear the TV in the living room, the reflection on the ceiling, as, like, the TV was changing, and then, like, the lava lamps and the black lights, like, all the lights and stuff from the glow from the living room was showing up on the ceiling. And the voices sounded like demonic. Like, they were like, blah, 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 blah. You know, like that growling demonic sound. And that's all I could hear while I'm in bed. So I was like, put the pillow over my head, and I wrapped up as tight as I could. I was like, please stop. please stop, go away, I'm done. And I finally went to sleep. And that's the only time I've ever felt like that from tripping on mushrooms. But that was a terrible feeling. Like, I was ready to be done. Like, so done. And so, yeah, that's the story of Big Pappa tripping on mushrooms. And I just thought I'd tell y'all, because I thought it was funny. And me and my brother were talking about it the other day, and I just thought about it. I was like, I need to do a story time about that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. And until why can't I talk? Until next time, I love you guys. Peace.